Okay. So it's on the dot 5:30 p.m. IST. Good evening, everyone. Whoever is present, please give me some kind of an indication that I am audible. Am I audible to everyone? Hi, Ritika. Good evening. You're the first one to have joined in tonight. Great. Lovely. So we'll just wait for a couple of more people to join in. We started dot at the 5:30 p.m. IST, and we did a little bit of a practice. So some of our followers dropped off and came back in, but I'm just waiting for a few more to come in before we start off with our guest this evening. So good evening, everyone, once again. My name is Aarti. I'm a domestic abuse coach, and here we are to observe the Domestic Abuse or Domestic Violence Awareness Month. This is a universally observed month, more popular in the West, but that's exactly why we are talking about it today, because we want to create the awareness about it in India as well, as October being the Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So I'm glad and I'm delighted that I'm here to talk to a guest who is special, who has been a coach and a counselor herself. And I will give you more introductions about her the moment I let her into the room. So give me a moment, and I'm inviting Priyanka Verma. Priyanka, are you joining in? Thank you, Ritika. Yes, indeed, it's a very important topic, and we were waiting to discuss this with everyone. Hi,
Hi,
Priyanka.
Aarti.
Good evening. How are
Yeah,
you?
hi. Yeah, I'm doing good. Am I audible
Yes, you are clearly
perfectly?
audible. Am I?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
great. Lovely. So, Priyanka, I am delighted to welcome you to the Insta Live today. We are talking, as you know, about
Thank you.
domestic abuse from the eyes of a child. And before we start on that, I'll have the pleasure of introducing you. Priyanka Verma is based out of Noida in Noida in India. And she is a certified life transformation coach and a psychological counselor. She has been practicing for over a year now with serving more than 50 clients. Her key domain of work is women, and she seeks to serve them to make them economically and emotionally independent. And she also is a homemaker, while she's also a mother of a doting 5-year-old and a lovely 11-year-old girl. So on to you, Priyanka. Here we are to discuss domestic abuse from the eyes of a child. So before
Yeah,
we dive into that, I welcome you heartily. And the thing that we want to start with today is, what is domestic abuse
yeah.
and why are we
So first of
discussing
all,
it today?
thank you. Yeah. So first of all, thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. And I'm so
Welcome.
glad to be here on your platform. So thank you so much. I'm grateful for that.
Gratitude to you as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, we are talking about this topic uh, right now because as you have told earlier, that this is the domestic violence awareness month. So it's what can be the best time for talking that regarding that, right?
Sure.
So yeah, this is one of the main reason that we are here today, because as you said that spreading that kind of awareness, especially in India, is very crucial, is very important, because this is a very kind of taboo topic that people don't want to talk about it,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
So second reason could be that since the because we know that most of the times domestic violence happen with women in India, but it's if we talk about it, it's just a myth, because it is a neutral, um, it's a very neutral thing, okay, gender neutral.
Hmm.
So male domestic violence also happen in India. It
Right.
is reported,
Right.
right? So this is very important, and the different other kinds of abuses are also there. We'll discuss it later.
Sure.
And the second important reason what I feel that we need to talk is because the whole of the family environment gets hindered due to this, other than the abuser and the abused person, and especially the children around the
Sure.
home,
Right.
because because at their very tender age they are prone to that, so they are often neglected. People think that they are not getting affected. So that is very important, looking the domestic violence through the eyes of a child.
Sure. Thank you so much, Priyanka, for that summary and for getting us off to a great start this evening. And thank you also for bringing up two very crucial points. One of which was that domestic violence is not restricted to women alone. And I can't emphasize this
Yes.
enough. If my followers have been looking at the posts that I'm making on domestic abuse, particularly for this month, because as a tribute to the survivors, I want to let people know and make them aware that this is one of the myths of domestic abuse, that it is restricted to
Yes.
women alone. It is actually, it cuts across genders. It's just that in a place like
Yes.
India, where there is strong cultural conditioning or some kind of a, like you said, taboo or restriction, it is reported
Hmm.
more from women. And it is quite possible because we
Yes.
don't have a lot of hands-on data, since we don't know if 100% of the cases are reported, and quite likely not. It's just that women report more, so it is considered a gender-specific issue. And it could be
Yes.
so because
Yes.
majority of the women may be coming across this issue in their marital home or even in the birth home. You never know. But
Yes.
yes,
It's so true.
the truth is that men go through it as well, or the other genders go through it as well. It is just about letting our viewers know, letting our audience know that we are today treating this topic as gender neutral. As you said, Priyanka, it's very important to start
Yes.
off with that. So the abused and the abuser, both of them
Yes.
could be of any gender. What we are
Yes.
focusing
So
on
true.
today is why is it important to bring it up on a platform, discuss it, and find solutions towards it. The second point that you
Yes.
made very rightly is that we think of it as a very isolated event because it may happen in an isolation of the abused and the abuser. However,
Hmm.
because it is
Yeah.
domestic violence, it is effectively family violence because it happens in typically the four walls of an household, and a household will typically have more than the abused and the abuser. And a
Yes. So
child
true.
is the little one out there is not an adult or doesn't have enough development of the brain to even understand what is happening. And the child might then grow
Yes.
into an adult who may have several issues. And I'll leave that to you for a discussion. So thanks a lot for bringing up that point that children do get affected and they have long-term effects
Yes.
of witnessing or experiencing
Or
abuse.
directly, yeah,
Yes,
experiencing. Yeah.
yes, yes. So that brings me to my next question, Priyanka. How are children in the abusive environment actually affected by the abuse? What are the ways we can actually bucket them?
Okay, so to be very clear that there we can see the domestic abuse either if you're particularly talking about the kids, so there can be an active abuse that the children are getting abused directly, they are getting emotionally abused or physically abused by the parent or any other person around the family. So
Hmm,
it can be possible.
hmm,
But what we are focusing right now, because since active witnessing, active experiencing can be seen, it is visible, quite visible. But what people generally neglect, that is the passive abuse, the passive witnessing, right? So the effect on the kids, what happens is that because they are very, especially the younger kids, if you talk about the infants or toddlers or the very young kids, so they don't even understand that what is happening around us. So if it's happening between both of them, between the both of them, their parents, so they just gets confused that who is right and who is wrong, because they don't have that kind of awareness, right? So they just have a very limited brain capacity
hmm,
to have that thought pattern that
hmm,
what is happening and why it is happening. and it gets inculcated inside them, deep down in their heart, or maybe their body may experience it. So there are various impacts that can happen on the kids. Quite a few times they are visible, and most of the time they are invisible, right? See, various kind of depression can be seen, stress can be seen inside in the kids, right? And some because what studies have shown, that obviously the kid is not uh, getting abused directly, but indirectly also they have that similar kind of effect on them. So they are prone to more diseases, like different diseases related to that, like
Right.
post traumatic disorder syndrome. It's
Right.
very common because it is a very big trauma for them. Okay, what has happened? And more importantly, that because they are very because the younger kids are just, they are at the age that they are creating certain limiting beliefs at that time, because research have shown that most of the limiting beliefs are get created up to age of 7 to 8 years in the kids. So most of the times what happens, that they many symptoms are visible, that their behavior, they have that behavioral issues, or their growth gets hampered, or their personality changes, or maybe what we can say, they have inflammation around their body and difficulty concentrating in their studies, they are not able to focus,
Right.
and the panic attacks, anxiety attacks, many symptoms are there, which we tend to ignore most of the times, because the focus is all on the abused person. They are the victims most of the times, and children get neglected. So it's very important to keep an eye on that and to take care of that.
Fantastic. Thanks, Priyanka. You brought up
Yeah,
really
yeah,
significant points out of this. So, if I can just summarize and try to reinforce what
yeah,
we have been trying
yeah,
to
yeah.
say here, is that
Hmm.
effectively domestic abuse itself is of many forms. It just needn't be physical,
Yes,
it could be mental, emotional,
yes.
economic, sexual,
Mental,
and
yes,
so many other
emotional,
ways.
yeah.
Now, what's happening
Hmm.
between the abuser and abused is automatically having a ripple effect on their environment. The child, like you said, gets confused and has these impacts, which can again manifest themselves either as a physical impact or a mental impact or an emotional impact, even a sexual impact. So when I talk to my clients, the abused clients who I call survivors, um, I'm very proud of them to be survivors. What I realize is that the abused person is very concerned, is confused, but is also very concerned at that point in time about who is dependent on them. So the abuser may not really
Yes.
think about the consequences, and that's
Hmm.
exactly why abuse happens. But the person who is
Hmm.
abused actually takes on the load of not just their own well being, but also those who are dependent on them. And it could be even an older person, but here, because the focus of our discussion is children, minor children, and sometimes even adult children get very
Yes.
deeply affected.
Hmm.
And thanks, Kanika. Hi, Kanika. I have seen her in the chat. Thanks for adding that kids blame themselves for what's happening. So there
Yes,
we come to
sometimes it
a,
happens, yes.
yeah, there we come to a great point, Priyanka, for you. In terms of our own
Hmm.
cultural conditioning, specifically in an environment which is patriarchy filled, what is it that you think comes across as an impact? How can we prevent it? And if we can't prevent it, how can we reduce the impact that has happened and help the child recover? And
Yeah,
sorry,
sure.
before
So
you get
it's,
into that, Priyanka, good evening, Dr. Natarajan. Good evening, Life Success Coach. Thank you for joining us here. Sure, Priyanka, go ahead.
yeah, first of all, thank you for asking a beautiful question, because it is very important, right? So, what is because see, since childhood, especially our Indian culture, makes makes our belief systems, our cultural conditioning is as such that since we are in the patriarchal society, as you have said, so true that it creates a very huge impact on child's mind, right? So just most of the beliefs are created that, okay, because a child is seeing, let's assume that if a child is seeing his father or mother abusing the other person, other parent, so generally there can be the two options depending on his or her thought pattern, that okay, is it right to abuse someone? So the child, because he don't have that critical thinking, so he can pick up it easily.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a very normal thing that we can abuse, especially if we talk about women, we can abuse our wife or someone else or our sister, right? So this is one of the option. Second option can be that they themselves become rebellious. Okay, so maybe, and it will and it's the irony that it gets passed on to different generations, because I know that if a child is born and brought up in that particular kind of environment, so depending on his or her self esteem, he will pass on to the next generation. So it will happen, and we need to break that chain,
Okay.
right?
Can
So
I
it is
interrupt you
so,
there, Priyanka, just on that very
yeah,
point, if that's
yeah, sure,
okay?
yeah.
Can you quote
Mm-hmm.
a specific example in daily life where self-esteem comes in the way if somebody has already gone through witnessing abuse?
Okay, if we talk about, because since our childhood, uh, we have been brought up, born and brought up like, because since we are girls, the daughters are being born and brought up like this. Okay, okay, you have to go, you have to do this particular kind of job, and we used to have that gender roles around our home,
Right.
right? So
Hmm.
this is not your job and this is your job. So most of the times what we realized, that the household chores were given to the only to the women,
Okay.
right? So
Hmm.
this is, I'm just giving an example, and most of the times it has been seen that a girl child will only help the mother in household chores, a boy will not help. So these can be a small example that a boy can create a limiting belief in his mind, okay, this is not my job. And simultaneously a girl will create this in her mind, that okay, I have to do this job, it is normal for me, I can't go for study, I can't go for sports.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
this is a very random example that how cultural conditioning makes our thought pattern.
Okay. So with that low self-esteem,
Yeah,
the girl will then become a people pleaser quite
yeah, then
likely, and
girl
that will
will,
carry on.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
and it will carry on to the next generation, and it has been happening since generations, what we can witness,
Yes.
because the girl child goes into the low self-esteem.
Right.
Okay, this is not my job, I can't do that. So she starts to self-doubt herself.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
Sure. Thanks for sharing that, Priyanka. It's really
yeah.
interesting
If you
how
want,
a
you can
child.
also add some points.
Sure,
If you
sure.
want, you
So,
can also add some point, it would be nice.
sure.
Yeah,
Sure, I will do. In fact, that's what I was acknowledging, that you made some very interesting points on how this cuts across generations and we don't even realize it. It can,
yes.
first, it goes beyond gender roles. In general,
Hmm.
abuse goes beyond gender roles. But then in certain
Yes,
societies or certain cultures, like where there's patriarchy, especially in countries like ours, we realize that those gender roles actually get segregated so much that abuse also gets tagged to even just one gender. It gets very surprising for people
yes,
to
yes.
know that somebody else in as a male figure or somebody else of that kind has
Hmm.
faced abuse. It gets very surprising. And then it gets very surprising for people to even admit or realize that how can a child be so affected if nothing has happened before them, or if nothing that they have
Hmm.
been through themselves can impact them. But that's where the
Yes.
point really comes in, that passive abuse is potentially
Hmm.
as bad as active abuse in the
Yes.
family environment. And why? Because, like you mentioned, the child's brain hasn't fully developed. What it
Hmm.
witnesses, it stays in the subconscious mind. And the right and the wrong is a differentiator or a distinction that the child cannot make. So in the couple of ways
Yes.
that it can get manifested is because the child feels insecure since their needs are not fully met, and the needs primarily become being in a safe environment. Since the
Yes.
mother
And
or the father,
how's
whoever
that?
is
Yeah.
abused, is themselves
Hmm.
not in a safe environment, how can the child be guaranteed of a
Yes.
safe environment? So that's number one. But the child has their
Hmm.
needs. So what they're witnessing, they're absorbing like a sponge, and then they are reflecting that, showing up with that in the outside world. So they could potentially become bullies on the playground.
Hmm.
They could potentially go
Hmm.
down in their studies. And everything is not about
Hmm.
scoring marks, as you know, but really about cognitively developing. And that doesn't happen.
Yes. Overall development.
Overall development. So socially, they can either withdraw or they can get too aggressive. Or at school, in
Hmm.
their own work, they may drop in their grades. In the house, they may or may not be attached to the siblings. And one of the reasons why all of this might happen, and there can be plenty of reasons in the field of psychology, as you may know. One of the reasons why this might happen is
Yes.
that the child may think that I'm to be blamed for it, what is happening. Because I'm tossed
Yes.
around and my needs are not met, then what am I doing here?
Hmm.
So the kind of
Hmm.
confusion that you expressed, I can already visualize a little child going through that. And then what's there in the subconscious mind in the early years of the child, as we all know, before the age of 7, they retain things that become patterns
Hmm.
over a period of time. The
Yes.
child can continue to showcase those behavior patterns in adulthood, which
Hmm.
becomes terrifying because that's when
Hmm.
you're carrying on that behavior pattern into the next generation,
Yeah.
and for no fault of
Yeah.
his or her, their partner might end up facing abuse
Hmm.
from them.
Yeah. So
So the
true. So
critical point is to
beautifully you
break that
have put
pattern
this
in the
point.
childhood.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Because I would like to add one more point here because according to the attachment theory in psychology, what we have learned of relationships, so whatever the child's relation is with their primary caregivers, their attachment style gets developed as per it. So and the child carries to till the adulthood, carries it to with them till the adulthood, and their own personal relationship with their spouse or any other member, they are also based on that attachment style. So
Right.
facing all these things, being a child is a very sad thing because their whole life will be dependent on those thoughts.
Right. Beautiful,
Yeah.
Priyanka. Thanks for bringing that all together and consolidating those effects on the child. And I'm sure there's so much more that, is left to
Yeah.
research and reading and all of that. But what I would really be interested in, and I'm sure all our followers and our audience is really interested in, especially as a tribute to this particular month where we're trying to increase the
Hmm.
awareness. What is it
Hmm.
in our fields as a coach, as a counselor? What is
Hmm.
it in our fields as
Hmm.
tools that we have to be able to
Hmm.
prevent this kind of impact from happening? Or if the impact has already happened, how do we help reduce it? So, are there any
Yeah. So
tips on that?
yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. So first of all, we as a counselor or as a coach, we have to make our client realize that they are facing such kind of situation. We need to bring that awareness in them. If something wrong is happening with you, because most of the time people are not aware only that something bad is happening with
Hmm.
me, wrong
Hmm.
is happening with me. So
Hmm.
we need to first spread that awareness in them, and then we will uh, we can just tell them that they are responsible for their life, so they need to take 100% responsibility for them. And if it's because since the kids are also also uh, the responsibility of them, so they are responsible for them also, right? So both of the things they need to be responsible for, first of all.
Sure.
Secondly, they can build their self esteem. Many options are there that they need to love themselves first, they need to
Hmm.
care for themselves first. And if because because the self-esteem of the abused person is low, so he or she will go into that deep zone again and again. The patterns will be repeating, right? So first of all, we as a coach or a counselor, we can make sure that they raise their self-esteem, their self-confidence, so that they hold that power, that they can take some decision. They
Right.
they can take any particular action against it.
Right.
Can take a stand for themselves, right? So this is very important. So
So you're saying
what
this in the
we can do
context
that
of the abused person, right? This is the kind of
sorry,
this is the kind of help that one can extend to the person who is abused,
yes,
right? Okay.
yes,
And how
yes,
can then
we as a
they
counselor
translate
or
it
a
to the
coach, we
child?
can train them.
Right.
Yes, yes. Okay, child, yeah, we can also teach them, or we can coach them that how they can handle their kids, because they are the primary caregivers and they are responsible to give that safe environment to their kids. Are you there, Aarti? I
Yes,
think
I
I
am.
lost you.
Am I not visible?
Okay.
Somebody from the
No,
audience
no,
can please
now it's
confirm.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
It's okay now. It's okay.
Sure. Carry on.
Yeah. So I was saying, that being a responsible parent for their kids, you have that responsibility that you need to make that safe environment in your house. Talk to your child, because most of the times, as you said earlier, and Kanika also mentioned it beautifully, that the kids most of the times blame themselves that this is happening because of me. Maybe my parents are fighting or abusing each other because of me, right? So we need to spread that awareness in them that they are not responsible for that.
Right.
And we create and as a parent, we can create that environment, that cushy environment, that cuddling environment, the love we can give to them. That is very important,
Right.
right? So
Right.
so these can be what can be because they can ask from the external help also. They can ask, they can give the counseling to the kids. They themselves can take counseling or coaching, since coaching is not preferable for the kids, but
Yes.
counseling is a better option for the kids.
Yes.
So it is a good thing that we can consider this for
Great.
our child, or we can talk to their teachers, or the or other caregivers or other friend circles. We can talk to someone, we can ask them to support them,
Sure.
because being abused in the family, maybe the abused person is not capable of giving that environment. Maybe most of this in scenario, it can be the situation,
Yes.
but they can
Yes.
sure ask for help, external help.
Absolutely. Bang on. You
Yeah.
hit the nail on the head, Priyanka. Thank you so much. Because there
Thank
can be
you.
many tools available. There can be many options available. As a coach, I can help
Yes.
the abused person to really help them own their power
Yes.
and help them
Yes.
transition from toxic relationships. And I can do so much. But uh,
Hmm.
for the child, there is counseling available. So there is a distinction there. Despite all of this being
Hmm.
available, the first step has to come from the person who is abused. The first step
Yes.
of owning
Definitely.
or wanting to own their power has to come from the abused person. And instead of looking at it as a baggage that, literally sometimes a thought can be, my life has ended, or there's nothing more left to it, and this is my destiny, and all of that. And this is the destiny of my children as well. Instead of thinking all of that, if there is that one step that they can take to seek that external help which you're talking about, then try to identify also what is that exact help that they would need. Because friends and family, if they're supportive, they can be there, but they may not be able to put in that objective sense of help to you as an abused person,
Yes.
as maybe me as a coach or you as a counselor can potentially do, because we can look at things independently and
Yeah.
objectively. And the other thing is,
Yeah.
as you mentioned, for the child particularly, I would encourage my clients to, as you said, talk to the child, but I would also encourage my client to distinguish themselves, as hard as it may seem. First, own the whole issue for themselves and own their own power. Because the load of it my children are affected and this has happened and that has happened, and they forget themselves a lot of the time. They're already in such a
Yes.
constrained and helpless environment that they are literally living for only the child or the children in the family. And that makes their
Yeah, so
self-esteem
true.
and the confidence go lower and lower. So I would encourage that they do that. And certainly, I mean, if I have any such, you know, challenges coming up with my clients, I'm certainly going to refer them to you for their children, because if the child can be given a safer, like you said, a more warm, a welcoming, a nurturing environment somehow,
Hmm.
where the abused person herself or himself is helpless, how can we go out there and help so
Yeah,
that the
sure.
effect of
So
this
true.
abuse is reduced as much as possible,
Hmm.
and the child can go back on track
Yes.
as his or her peers? So great. Thank you so much for all of those
Yeah.
insights, Priyanka. And is there anything else you would like to add? Because we have a surprise for our audience. And I'll come to
I'm
that if,
also desperately waiting for that surprise.
okay. So
Yeah.
I'm going to help another guest pop in. And that's a surprise which is huge for me as well, in terms of, getting him on this platform. He is a very well established person. I'm going to try and get him onto the video first, and then we will. Can you please have some patience for 2 minutes for everyone? Okay, I've invited the gentleman. Uh, till the gentleman drops by, we will introduce him. So he is Mr. or rather Dr. C.D. Natarajan. He is an established but retired now as a pediatrician. He is over the age of 70, but when you talk to him, he's no less than a child. We have this clear sense of Tom and Jerry between us. He has a great sense of humor. And Dr. Natarajan, I call him CDN fondly. Dr. Natarajan has been so kind to contribute his perspective from the wealth of experience and wisdom that he has while treating children as his patients for, I guess, over 4 decades of being a pediatrician, and even now serves voluntarily with a lot of people. He's based out of Chennai. Please extend a warm welcome to Dr. Natarajan. Good evening, Dr. Natarajan.
Good evening,
Good
sir.
evening. Thank you so much. This is a real pleasant surprise, though you had informed me about this program. And of course, it was very informative, and both of you were outstanding in your understanding and, conception of what to do and, sorry, how to approach this problem of domestic violence. But believe me, this problem of domestic violence is very much there in all sections of society. And ultimately, I think the person who really suffers, apart from the person who is being abused, is the child. Because the child, as Ms. Verma said, it's at a very tender and vulnerable age, doesn't know what's happening around it, and gets mentally traumatized. So they react in two ways. One, either they just withdraw into a cocoon, not able to understand what is happening. And then when they withdraw into a cocoon, they do not eat properly, their health suffers. They do not study properly, so their scholastic performance suffers. On the other hand, there are a few, maybe boys, who see their fathers acting very cruelly towards their mothers. And what they do is they imbibe some of these qualities, which, as Ms. Verma said, they exhibit it in different situations, either in school or when they grow up. They tend to regard the girls as somebody whom they can bully. And this goes down, in families. It's handed from the grandparents to the parents to the children. It's something which must be cut. And therefore, as Ms. Aarti said, October being the domestic violence, I'm sorry, I should say anti-domestic violence month, not domestic violence month, but anti-domestic violence month. I think this message should be spread. And the two things I've always believed in is one, parents will argue. A husband and wife will argue. You can't prevent it because they are being closeted 24 hours and they have a lot of problems. Fight, but fight inside your bedroom, not outside. Do not fight in front of your children. Okay, you go hell for leather. You argue, call each other names, but do not do it in front of them because the parents owe their children. It's their birthright. The children deserve a proper upbringing. And when the mother and father fight, it is one of the most tragic things that can occur. This is what I personally believe, and I've always believed this as a pediatrician. And secondly, there's one more thing. If I can take 2 more
Sure,
minutes,
sir, please do.
Yeah, sure.
thank you so much. There's another thing is which I personally believe that in a husband and wife argument or quarrel, there is no winner. They both suffer, the family suffers. It's the children that suffer most. There is no winner. I mean, I can guarantee you that. So many things can happen, but there will not be a winner. So it's a question of adjustment. Again, when you adjust, it's like, on the bus or the train, somebody said, please adjust, and somebody is pushed out. So adjustment also has its boundaries and limitations. There's an old saying, the givers give, the takers take. So in many couples, one person, usually the wife, adjusts. Till at a certain time it reaches breaking point. So it should never reach that breaking point. I think it is left to the wisdom of the father and the mother, particularly the father, to see that the breaking point is never reached and the children do not in any way suffer and become, and they are left with a mental scar which may manifest any time in their future. These are some of my personal views, So I
Beautiful
don't know if I've
thoughts,
exceeded my time.
Gideon. Thank you so much,
Thank
and
you so
gratitude
much.
for sharing that, because your wisdom and expertise as a gentleman, a pediatrician, and for the age and stage that you are at now, it works a lot on this kind of a platform where we're trying to say that it's not a joke to have this kind of a month only for awareness. This is something that we should carry on for the
Yes,
rest of the year. And this is something that has to be a
exactly.
continuous dialogue because children,
Yes,
and I'm just reinforcing what has already been said, there's nothing new. Children are the future.
yes.
Yes,
So,
And for the family, the children are everything.
yes,
yes. We
absolutely.
are creating a new
So,
generation, whole new generation.
yes, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
we need to be conscious.
And I saw a quote somewhere, you teach your son to do the household work. So in future, he'll have a partner and not a servant.
Yeah,
And you teach your daughter,
so true.
you teach your daughter to be economically independent so that when she grows up, she'll have a partner and not a master. These two quotes I saw somewhere and left a lasting impression on me. So I
And
thought
you
I'd share
did
it
just
here.
that with us as well. It has left a lasting impression on me for sure, and I'm sure to Priyanka and our followers as well. I
Yeah,
was just
sure.
about to request you
Yes.
for a
Thank
parting
you.
shot, CDN, and you gave it to us without asking. But you're very welcome to say anything
Thank
more
you.
that you would like to. I'm particularly
No,
delighted about the fact that, we have this forum with two women and one gentleman who are speaking the same language on this subject.
Yes.
And that
yes,
matters
Yes.
the most.
yes, that matters a lot because that is the truth. That is God's truth, what's happening.
Yes.
And that, as you said, doesn't matter whether there is no gender in it. Whatever it is, we all realize what's happening, and that must be stopped,
Absolutely.
isn't it?
Absolutely.
And that can be stopped.
Absolutely.
So,
Yes.
on that note,
Absolutely.
if I may
And
request CDN and Priyanka one after the other, if there's that one thing, if there's just one thing that you would recommend to our audience on how to protect that little child, and which is workable, doable right away? What is it that can be done?
I think sir would like to go first.
After,
Being
no,
more
after you, madam.
experienced.
After you.
No. Being more experienced than me, please go on, sir.
Okay. Never expose the child to your arguments, fights, quarrels, differences in opinion. Never expose your child to that. Keep it to yourself. Find a solution. But even if you don't find a solution, please do not expose your child to your whims and fancies. I think that
Right.
maybe is
Beautiful,
my
sir. Yeah.
personal
Yeah.
So
message.
Use privacy for the child's advantage, actually. That's it.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Great. Lovely.
So
Beautiful.
true.
Priyanka?
Yeah. I would like to add that try being an abuser, being an abused person, try to create that bond with your child, that emotional bond, that he or she feel free to talk to you, because sometimes lack of communication is there, due to which the connection gets lost somewhere. So it is very important what I also implement in my daily life, because I had created that deep bond with my both of the daughters, that they can talk to me anything, anytime, about anywhere and anywhere. So we need to create that trust on our kids. It is very important that
Fantastic.
how they are feeling right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially in a culture that still looks at gender roles as very important segregation.
Yes.
I can't
Yes.
agree with you more, Priyanka.
Yeah, and one more
Thank you.
thing, what I realized that I'm the mother of two daughters. In spite of that, what I uh, generally teach other women, that we need to raise our kids uh, not as per gender bias, because obviously many people are implementing it these days. But what, because I have many friends that they have that their sons with them, so I just usually in a very casual talk, I teach them that please train your son to do each and every kind of job, so that they don't get that
Yes.
belief that this is not my job and this is her job. So we need to be very gender bias free, right?
Right.
Yeah, no
Right.
partiality between both the genders.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that creates the mentality for a
Yes.
more
Yes.
sort of warm future for
Yes,
children in
yes,
general rather
because
than
we are
gender.
Absolutely.
responsible for creating the next generation, so it's our duty to
Yes.
train both the genders equal.
Yes. Lovely. Thank you so
Yes.
much, Priyanka and Dr. Natarajan. I can't help it but call you CBN all the time. That's what I'm used to as a friend. And I would
It's
like
a
to
Thank
thank
special
you.
bond
everyone in
Thank
the
between
you.
you and
audience.
him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'd like to ask if anybody from the audience like to throw the floor open. If there are any questions for our psychological counselor Priyanka Verma or Dr. C.D. Natarajan with any aspects around the issue today, please feel free to type out your questions in the chat box. And I will, in the meantime, acknowledge whoever I can find on the chat right now. There's Karthik Krish 14. Thank you for joining us. There's Mansi Srirang. Thank you. There's Kanika. Thank you. Manali Shetty. A beautiful, deep Gangadharan. Okay. Thank you. Right. Yes, Mansi. Totally agree with your message, Natarajan sir. Natarajan sir, you have a lot of fans. Niharika
Thank you.
1407,
It
thank
took
you. Shilpa Gautam Mecha, thank you for joining us. I'm delighted about the fact that there are a lot of new faces on the audience today. And if this platform
Yeah.
gives an option for people to even listen in and then develop the courage to speak and then develop further courage to take action, I think my job is done. So,
Yeah,
on
so
that
true.
note, thank you everyone. Thank you. Yes, Shobita, thanks a lot for acknowledging that. Thank you, Priyanka. Thank you, Dr. Natarajan, for all your inputs. It's been wonderful to have this discussion with you. We hope to reconvene on something new for our audience in the area of domestic
Yeah.
abuse very soon.
Yeah, before closing, I would like to
Thanks a
appreciate
lot.
Natarajan sir that he is a very experienced person and doing a very well job. And especially Aarti, you have taken a very courageous job of just what revolution you will bring. I know for sure. And I'm
Thank
there
you.
with you always.
Thank you, Priyanka. I'm
Yeah,
delighted. I'm
yeah,
totally grateful. I'm at a loss of words right now. Usually
yeah,
not the case, but yeah. Thank you so much for acknowledging that. And
yeah,
I just want to take people along who believe in the same cause. And I know you too do. And let's carry on with the good work. Thank you so much for
yeah,
being
for
here.
sure.
My
Yeah.
my
Okay.
5-year-old grandniece has joined in.
Oh,
Yeah,
And
she just
wish her a
message.
beautiful future.
yeah.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, both of you. Both of you were wonderful. So much of knowledge, so much of information you've given us. I wish this should be broadcast in some program in one of those events they have to have in thing of this month, and maybe this could be included in that. It is so valuable.
Thank you.
Thank you all so
Very
much.
Thank
encouraging.
you so
Thank
Very
you.
much. Your
encouraging. Thank you so
blessings,
much.
your
Thank
blessings.
you so much.
All right.
Yeah.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Thanks, Silam.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.